President Biden now participating in a virtual climate summit. It's going to happen this hour at the White House alongside leaders of countries the U.S. sees as potential national security threats. How do our allies read that message? Former Secretary of State, Fox News contributor Mike Pompeo with me now. And sir, good morning to you and welcome to our broadcast today.
Good morning, Bill. It's great to be with you this morning.
Here is the tweet from the president. America is back, he writes. We rejoin the Paris Agreement. We're ready to rally the world to tackle the climate crisis. Let's do this. How do you rate the urgency of the climate today?
Well, Bill, everybody is for clean air and safe drinking water, but to place climate change on the list of threats that face the United States of America as number one is an enormous mistake. The threat from the Chinese Communist Party, they're here, they're inside the gates, they have an enormous military, they're inside our infrastructure, far outweighs the risk to the United States of America from climate change. I could list half a dozen other challenges we face, not the least of which is the crisis on our southern border today, that far outrank the urgency of climate change. You know, the other thing too, Bill, is when I see these summits, when I see these international commitments, these gab fests around the world, the only country that's likely to comply with its commitment will be the United States of America. They will take us for patsies. We will execute our climate change goals on the backs of working people, working men and women all across America, and other countries will laugh at us and they'll say, well, it just got a little too hard, it got a little too expensive, and we didn't make it. Maybe we'll get you next decade or the decade after that. It's a foolish proposition and one that will harm the United States of America.
Well, Putin spoke yesterday. Xi spoke yesterday as well. Apparently, Xi was a surprise turn up, and he led the Chinese delegation. He said this. I don't even know what this means. To protect the environment is to protect productivity. To boost the environment is to boost productivity. It's as simple as that. Do you know what that means?
Bill, I don't know what it means, but I've listened to Xi Jinping for an awfully long time now and had the chance to meet him. Here's what I know for sure. This isn't about a win-win solution between China and the United States of America. Whatever is in his head with respect to this is an attempt to create power and authority for the Chinese Communist Party and to harm the United States of America and to create hegemonic power across the world. He's not coming into a climate deal for the sake of either the United States of America or, frankly, for his own people either. This is an authoritarian regime that is Marxist-Leninist in its economic approach, and they have big designs on displacing the United States of America as the world's leading superpower.
You think about when you came in under the Trump administration, North Korea was the biggest concern, right? I mean, I think we can admit that. I think President Obama would admit the same, right? And now you've got Russia and Ukraine, you've got China and Taiwan, you've got Iran and the nuclear deal. Who knows what else is out there? Of these, what do you rate as the biggest challenge facing us as a country and this administration among that?
Well, North Korea certainly remains a challenge. What's taking place in Vienna, the negotiations between the United States and the other, the P5, with the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, the French, and the Brits, present real risk to the United States and to our friends, our Arab friends and our Israeli friends that have joined the Abraham Accords, that have extended peace throughout the Middle East. To think that we might lift terror designation on the world's largest state-sponsored terror is just befuddling. It puts real risk on our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines all around the world. It puts risk on those of us here at home as well. You talked about the Russians as well. I think these are collectively a sign that deterrence, the model that we had, we put America first at the top of our national security agenda. The deterrence model that the Trump administration had built out was the right one. And when you demonstrate weakness and the absence of resolve, you invite these kinds of coercive activities from our adversaries all across the world.
Well, I mentioned our allies in the lead-in to you, and I just wonder, with Putin speaking there, how appropriate is that when you think about Russia right now on the brink of perhaps another incursion or even a war with Ukraine?
And it's really something. We'd have meetings with the Russians, and if we didn't bring up all the bad things he was doing, the left would just hammer us. Yesterday, they had a feel-good meeting about Putin making some fake promise about what he was going to do with the Russian environment. I mean, this is a petrostate. This is a state whose only source of revenue of any significance is fossil fuels. To think they're going to give that up is just crazy. And yet they didn't raise any of the various issues, whether it was the jailing of Navalny, whether it's the actions that are taking place in southeast Ukraine and on the Ukrainian border, or whether it's the series of threats that the Russians pose to the people in Syria and all across the world. Somehow they think this feel-good moment for climate change overrides all those, and it will not serve the American people well.
It's a long list. Thanks for going through it with us, sir. Nice to see you again. Mike Pompeo, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.